Hi, Alex.
Hello, how you doing?
Doing good. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
again, thank you everyone so much for tuning in to today's conversation. As always, I do want to remind folks that we'll have a Q&A portion at the very end. Unfortunately, we won't be taking any personal questions, but again, please save your questions towards the very end. We'll have about 5 minutes or so to answer any questions that folks might have. But I'm excited for today's conversation. If you need any resources, please go on to informedimmigrant.com or follow Unocublack, who Alex works with. But before we get started, Alex, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about the work that you do with Unocublack?
Hey, all right. So, good evening, everyone. My name is Alex Wilson Ogbe. I'm from Nigeria originally and LGBTQ mental health immigrant advocate. And currently with Unocublack, I'm working on the RIF for the Liberian community, how to make sure that we have every single individual who is eligible to file for the RIF file their document on time since we're having the deadline at December 20th. So currently I'm a fellow with Unocublack. They've trained me, they gave me a lot of resources. We started with me training as LGBTQ mental health immigration advocate, then now branch out to working on the RIF with the national team that we have currently.
Yeah, thank you, Alex.
You're
So
welcome.
as a reminder to folks, today we will be discussing the Liberian Refugee Immigration Fairness Program. If
Mm,
you all need more information and want to stay informed on the program, we do have a great guide that Dr. Black actually helped us put together that you can find on informedimmigrant.com. And Dr.
mhm.
Black obviously also has really good resources that you can find on their platform, so I encourage you to go follow them. But before we get started on the actual questions and dive into the program, Alex, can you tell us what the Deferred Enforcement Departure Program is, also known as DED?
So DED is a form of relief which helps the Liberian immigrants not to be removed from the U.S. Normally, it was enacted by President W. Bush, yes, for almost like for 10,000 Liberians at a time. So the program basically is to help Liberians stay in the U.S. and be able to work, and also to create extension. The program is never permanent; it's more temporary. Um, but at the moment, currently, I think DED is expanded to January 2021 right now for any DED holder, and that should be able to cover people in the Liberian community as well, so that they will have time to file for the RIF, which is going to expire December 20th. So DED was more like just like TPS, so it protects you temporarily for a while, but the RIF is going to create a pathway for you to have your green card and eventually become a citizen.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. I think that's
You're
important going
welcome.
into talking
Mhm,
about LRIF, also
mhm.
known as the Liberian Refugee Immigration Fairness Program,
Yes, yeah.
because they're essentially connected, but I'll let you explain that. But so to go into the actual program, can you tell us
Mm.
about who qualifies for it?
Yeah, so for people who qualify for the RIF, you have to be a Liberian national. That has to be one of the criteria. And you have to be present in the United States since November 20th, 2014. And in order for you to be able to adjust your status in the United States. And USCIS consider any applicant who is absent from the United States for more than 180 days as not eligible to file. And for people who are also eligible, it's the spouse and unmarried children of the principal applicant. That's if I'm the one filing now, I need to file first. Then my application needs to be approved by the USCIS before my wife and my unmarried kids can file. So that's a beautiful thing about it. But the only painful part of it is just the program is just for a year, and with COVID happening now, the extension piece, we don't know what that looks like yet. But I still know with this new administration coming in, We're still going to protect maybe a lawsuit or something for us to have it extended. With COVID, those whole months were really, really taken away from us. So for people who are eligible, you have to be a Liberian citizen. Your spouse, as the principal person filing, your spouse, your married children also are eligible to file under you as well.
Yeah. Again, I think it's great that we're talking about it now, because a lot of people don't actually know that this program is an extension of the DED to allow people to get an actual protection of being able to apply for a green card. Again, I'm happy that folks are tuning in, even if this isn't a program that they might qualify for. It's good that they know that this is something that exists, so that when they do talk to other community members, that they can inform them that this is something that's present and that people can apply to. But can you walk us through like how people can actually apply for the program?
Yeah, so the program itself is one of the things we advise people from the community is get in touch with people who are going to guide you to go through the process. That's why we have Unocublack, and we also have African Community Together. When you go to Unocublack page and you click on LRIF resources and also tools, you're going to see the step-by-step and what to do. And we also have people who are on standby like Hadi and Dangeli to connect you to lawyers and also to help you. Unocublack also have finances set aside to help people who doesn't have the money to like get their passport. Because I know one of the things USCIS did as well was for you to have a passport in order for you to be eligible to file. So we're helping out with that. Unocublack is helping out with that to make sure that people were able to file for the passport and able to have money to file for the form with USCIS. And so if you go through the process, you look at the website for Unocublack, you see the LRIF resources and tools, and if you click on it, it's going to show you step by step on how to go about it. The best way is just get in touch with us. That will be able to guide you, because if you have any kind of felony and stuff like that, that's when you and the lawyer will have to talk so that they will know how to get a waiver for you if it's something that you need. So we would advise you don't file on your own. Just speak with an expert, somebody who understands immigration law, to help you with that process. Unocublack is there to help with this process. And we also work in conjunction with African Community Together. We should be able to also refer you to the appropriate channel for you to get help.
Yeah, it's definitely important that anything that has to do with immigration, if you're unsure about how you're applying or the documents that are needed, that you reach out to organizations that are trusted or lawyers that are trusted about how to do this process. So again, for folks that are just joining, please go follow Unocublack or African Communities Together. If you're looking for an organization near you, we have a database on our platform for informedimmigrant.com where you can find an organization near you where they can guide you through the process. But again, the two organizations that Alex is recommending obviously is with Unocublack, who he works with, and African Communities Together. But can you remind us again, like what, sorry, I think you told me this, but you mentioned that there's a deadline for this specific program. Can you remind us why it's so important that folks tune in right now and learn about that?
It's very important. For anything good, there is fear. Living under this administration, the Trump administration, thank God it's going to end soon, is why this is a beautiful thing, because LRIF has been something that the Liberian community and also our ally has been fighting for a long time. We have Senator Jack Reed introducing this bill for the last 20 years in Congress. And in order for it to pass, and we have just 1 year to make sure every application goes in, there are a lot of misinformation out there. Information about people who may have been convicted for something and they didn't have a lawyer to speak to, people who didn't even have money to apply for their passport or even pay for the form, So what we're trying to do to really get to the deadline is to, if you haven't applied, talk to us. Let us figure out if you are eligible or not. Let's channel you to the right legal team who will help you figure that out. I know from the website of USCIS, ineligible applicants include people who have convicted of aggravated felony and people who have 2 or more crimes of, and people who participated in persecution of others. But let's allow the lawyer, people who are experts in that, to be able to figure all of that out. So we only have till December 20th for all applications to go in. For people who haven't applied, if you know anyone who haven't applied, we're going to leave a contact email for you to email us, and we'll reach out to you and talk to you on the phone so that we'll be able to hear your case out and refer you to the appropriate channel. We don't really have time now. It's on the 9th. By before the 20th, we need to make sure that everybody's application is in. While USCIS have the application in their hands, that's all we needed. Immediately you're able to file before that deadline. That will be one of the things that we will really, really want everyone to do. And we're trying to make sure that it is safe. You don't have to be afraid. And that's why we will talk to you and refer you to a lawyer who will assure you through all the process all the way.
Yeah, definitely with the deadline around the corner, we do want to make sure that people do go to sources that are trusted, that won't take advantage of them, because we've seen time and time again that when it comes to the immigrant community, there's always someone looking out to take advantage of our community. So for folks who are tuning in, we are talking about the Liberian Refugee Immigration Fairness Program. So if you haven't heard about it, please go onto our platform for informedimmigrant.com. We have an LRIF FAQ guide that'll answer a lot of the questions that we're going through right now. Go follow African Communities Together, go follow Unocublack, and there'll be a source that can guide you in the right direction to make sure that you submit your application before the 20th of this month, which is literally like a week and a half away. So so close to the holidays that we want to make sure that people who qualify for this are able to apply, and that they know how they can apply, and the documents that'll help them get there. But I know I mentioned a few platforms that people can go to, Alex, but can you remind us how people can stay informed and some of the resources that will help people stay informed that they can share with other folks?
So I think the for now, because we don't have time, with African Community Together, we have the DED. It's more like a WhatsApp group where for people who are interested with the email we're going to post, just send us your name and maybe phone number. We'll add you to the group. There you can get real-time information. It's a closed group mostly for the Liberian community, and everything for you to get. And in order for you to get the appropriate information as well, you could reach out to African Community Together through their website and send them email, or reach out to Unocublack. Unocublack, someone is going to respond to you, because this is a project we're working on right now, and we are hands-on, and we'll be reaching out to you as well. And one of the things I didn't really mention, I have some bullet points here to make sure that we're following what is happening right now. In order for you to be eligible, because again, you have to show continuous physical presence in the United States, and some of the things that USCIS is looking for from you could be a copy of your passport pages with a non-immigrant visa, admission, or parole stamps. So some of these things are the roadblock we're having, and that's why we are making sure that everybody apply for passport through the Liberian embassy. And that also, they want to see arrival departure record, which is the I-94. They want to see your income tax record, your utility bill, mortgage deeds, or lease, medical record with dates and address. So what they're trying to establish is, since 2014, you've been in the country. So if you're able to provide this document, you are good to go to file your document. But because of some of those information are hard for people to just gather at once, that's why we want to talk to you, then refer you to our legal team, which could be African Community Together, working with you to gather all those documents that you need so that you can file on time.
Yeah. And Alex, for the people who maybe are just joining us, can you remind us again, the people who are eligible and some of the documents that they may need to apply for this?
Yeah. So for people who are eligible for this program, you have to be a Liberian immigrant, a Liberian citizen living in the U.S., presently living in the U.S., So being a principal person filing, maybe if I'm the one filing now, my spouse, my wife, or my husband, my unmarried children are also eligible to file as well. But my eligible children and my wife cannot file before me. I have to file and get approved before they can file as well. And for the document you may need is a copy of your passport pages showing your non-immigrant visa, admission, or parole stamp anytime you leave the country or come in, arrival departure record, which is your I-94. You also need your income tax record, your utility bill, mortgage deeds and leads, and medical records with dates and address. Why they're asking for some of those documents is to establish that you've been in the country since November 2014 in order for you to be eligible to file under the LRIF.
And again, I do want to remind folks that the deadline to apply for LRIF relief is for December 20th. It's right around the corner. So if this is something that you think that you or a friend may qualify for, please go follow Unocublack, reach out to them. They'll connect you to somebody who is trusted, who can guide you through the whole process, as well as African Communities Together. If you want to stay informed about the actual program and the components to go with it, Unocublack did help us put together a guide about LRIF and everything you need to know about it. You can find that on informedimmigrant.com. We do have one question. I don't know if you're comfortable answering it, but it does say, are there any grounds for someone's application to be rejected?
I think the only ground could be, you know, with USCIS, we don't want to assume that all the officers or anybody who is handling your case or looking at your file understand what the program is about. We've had cases where people's cases were rejected. On what grounds? So I think the best way to work for you to have to minimize rejection is work with a legal expert, you know, and that's why Unocublack is advocating to reach out so that we can get to talk to you. The last meeting we had with Unocublack and African Community Together, we have cases where people go for the interviews and they were asking some kind of weird questions and all of that, even with the document being there, and some of the officers are not, whether they are knowledgeable or whether if they're just not doing the right thing, nobody really knows. But from our end, we want to make sure that you have all the appropriate document, everything is filed correctly. Even if it's rejected with a lawyer, you should be able to know why it's rejected and refile again. And one of the questions they ask is, if I file before and it's rejected and the deadline has passed, and I send my form again, is it like I'm starting all over again? I don't really have proper answer for that, but I would say since your document has been in there, there should be a way you could go around it to reapply again. So reach out to us, African Community Together and Unocublack, and we will be able to speak with you and guide you properly on what to do. Legal immigration, sometimes it changes day to day. But as we get this information, we should be able to work with you properly and guide you to make sure that your filing is correct and on point.
Yeah, definitely. And again, anything that has to do with immigration is always very complicated. So we want to make sure that folks get screened if they believe that this is a program that they might qualify for, that they reach out to an organization that might be able to better assist, understands the program, and can let you know if you do qualify. Because as Alex mentioned, there's some unique factors that might put into play, because every immigration case is very unique. And while sometimes it may seem like it's just like these bullet points that you have to fit into, really sometimes a lot of your history and everything goes into play. So we want to make sure that you know, you don't get taken advantage of if you reach out to an organization that might not be familiar, or somebody who claims to know the immigration system when they really might not. So I can't continue to emphasize to follow Unocublack. Go to African Communities Together as well, check out their platform. They all have amazing resources, and if you're looking for information on LRIF, we have a guide on informedimmigrant.com. But I'm going to give it a few seconds, see if folks have other questions. We're happy to answer them, whether it's about the Informed Immigrant platform, or if you have any questions for Alex about Unocublack or LRIF, we're happy to answer some of the questions. But we're going to stay on like another 2 minutes and see if folks have any questions for us. But yeah, thank you so much, Alex, for joining us.
I'm so honored to be here.
Yeah, I'm happy you're joining us. It's important that we talk about this, especially with the deadlines so close, and some folks really not knowing that this is something that exists, and a lot of platforms not really talking about it. But right now it's like crunch time, you know. We want to make sure that the folks that can apply for this do, because I remember seeing a statistic that a big portion of the people who can apply for this haven't actually done so, and it might be because they don't know. So that's why I'm glad that we're having this conversation. But we're getting a question that says, what other resources does Unocublack provide to its members?
Unocublack is, if you look at their website, what it says, majorly they cater to is a network that fights to create space for Unocublack or people who are formerly not documented. So from getting resources for you to know where to go if someone like me who came to the United States 2012 to seek asylum, Unocublack may not be able to offer that services directly, but they can work in conjunction with African community together to find you what you're looking for. Unocublack, it's more like providing funding for like LRIF, and making sure that people who need to apply, people who need a hotel and fly to go to maybe Washington, D.C. or New York to the Liberian embassy to apply, they are able to do that. They have funds set aside for that. Unocublack also has been involved in TPS, you know, also involved in suing the Trump administration when it comes to some immigration issues. So they are more like the eyes and ears of our community when it comes to fighting for people of color, you know, people that look like me and you, from Africa, from all over, from the Caribbean and all of that. Direct services like medical and psych, they may not be doing that, but one of the things that they do is we are all spread all over. Like for me as a fellow with Unocublack, I still work as a senior account manager for Housing Works, connecting every immigrant that came my way to give them medical services, make sure their mental health is on point, whether they have the ability to pay or not. So now Unocublack is that like parent organization for us immigrants, and we working in different spaces. We are able to like plug our people into those relevant services and life-saving services they may need. So we have a lot we're doing. We have fellowships. We have events, which is more like conferences where we work on different issues and things that we stand for. Like the Liberian community is very, very important to Unocublack at this time, and that's why you see all hands on deck trying to make sure we work on that. So we do so many things that I may not be able to articulate correctly at the moment, but if you need more information, just reach out to us and we'll be able to send you more information and guide you and able to help you with what you're looking for.
Yeah, thank you for that explanation. There's definitely a lot more to the work that Unocublack does. So again, continue to encourage people to go follow and check out their platform to see what kind of resources are available to you. But we did get a question about whether we would recommend for people going into their interviews to have a lawyer present. I will say, unfortunately, we can't give any legal advice. My best recommendation would be for you to reach out to an organization near you that might be better able to answer this question, because when it comes to immigration cases, they're just all so very unique and specific. And what might work for one person won't work for another. And so we can't continue to enforce that you seek out somebody who knows the immigration system great. So if you're talking about LRIF, please reach out to Unocublack. They'll be able to check out and see if you qualify for this. If your case is actually cut and dry as you say it is, they'll be able to guide you in the right direction and let you know whether what the recommendation would be. So reach out to Unocublack. Or check out our platform on informedimmigrant.com. You'll be able to find an organization near you. But I'm waiting to see if we get any additional questions from folks. Oh, I think we're getting a question about what we think will happen with the new administration. It's hard to tell, but I will say that, there's always immigration organizations that are staying in the fight, and that, they'll continue to inform the immigrant community to stay tuned about everything that's happening. Follow Informed Immigrant. Any policies that come down, we'll be updating and keeping you all informed. So follow our page. Obviously follow Unocublack, that they're always up to date as well, and providing resources to the immigrant community. But Alex, I don't know that we're getting any more questions. So is there anything else that you would like to add before we end the live stream?
Yeah, so what I will have to say is if you've already applied or you know somebody, you may not be from the Liberian community, but you know someone who is Liberian or you know group of friends, just help us ask questions if they've applied. And if they haven't applied, just refer them to Unocublack page or African community page for them to reach out to us. So what we're trying to do was to make sure we do our best that everybody in the community, in our community, also have a chance to live in the United States without being afraid. So this is a great opportunity for us to take advantage of it. So the deadline is 20th of December. So if you've applied, amazing. If you haven't, if you know someone who haven't applied, please outreach them word of mouth and let them just contact us as soon as possible.
Yeah, thank you so much for that, Alex. Again, for folks who want to know more about the LRIF or Liberian Refugee Immigrant Fairness Program, please go on to Informed Immigrant. It overviews everything that Alex has covered today. Again, go follow Unocublack. If you're looking for resources that have to do with DACA, TPS, public charge, anything that has to do with mental health, please go on to informedimmigrant.com or inmigranteinformado.com if you're looking for Spanish resources. But again, Alex, can't thank you enough for taking the time out of your day today to have this conversation with us. I appreciate you. I'm looking forward to having other ways for us to work together. But again, thank you so much. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Stay tuned for next week. We'll be talking about public charge. But again, thanks everyone.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.